Welcome to Raptor Handling and Training. This video is about Falconry Based Bird Abatement on the Vineyard. These machines are fantastic. The pickers shake the grapes off the plants as they drive over the rows. Each wheel is independently controlled so that the machine can rise and tilt to compensate for the ground, depending on if it's in an incline or a slope, as the rows are always completely vertical. These trailers are pretty neat too, rising and tilting to dump the grapes into the shipping containers. Once this fruit starts to get ripe, the birds consuming it don't take a break, so we don't either. It's a lot of long days, and it pays to have a variety of falcons to do the job. Peregrines, Barbary, prairie falcons, they're big movers. They cover a lot of ground. But we've got aplomados too to get into the rows and work those tough birds that don't like to come out. I've always been fascinated with birds, but raptors, falcons in particular, are individuals. They have personality, just like people. We're going to start with the workhorses, the falcons that have a big footprint and do the majority of the work on the farm. The prairie, the Barbary, and especially the peregrine falcons are really exciting to see work. Long sweeping chases, ringing flights upward into the sky, and vertical stoops are the fruits of my labor. Modern technology has really brought bird abatement a long way. We can now remove the human from this process and take advantage of the falcon's gifts of their incredible eyesight, their speed, their ability to cover a lot of ground, and most importantly, their trainability. Wild raptors are bound to a pursue, subdue, and consume process that is self-rewarding. With modern training techniques and the intelligence of raptors, these falcons are imitating the wild predator, but they're not using lethal force. We train them to pursue, intimidate, haze the pest birds in a very aerial fashion. We're not using stealth and surprise. We want all the birds to see the falcon working. And then we let the wild raptors reinforce the predatory threat. And that makes the contract an uninviting place for them to be. They're not safe. Just as wild raptors are faithful to the catch and kill and consume process, the captive raptors that are working this contract, they're faithful to chasing and being rewarded by a human. It's actually a much more effective process because the falcons working don't eat a large meal and sit for the rest of the day. These little falcons are amazing birds. Aplomados fill a niche that the other falcons can't. They're also kind of the comic relief of the falcon team. The first thing you'll notice looking at an aplomado is that awesome paint job. They're really neat looking. But you'll also notice they have a long tail and shorter wings than the other falcons. And that's where they get their maneuverability, their ability to negotiate tight quarters. They're kind of like a Cooper's hawk, but with the trainability of a falcon and a charming personality. There are pest birds that won't challenge a peregrine or a Barbary in the sky. They're just not very fast flyers, and they know they're safer if they stay in the crop. But you don't want a peregrine or a Barbary or a prairie flying through the rows. They can get hurt hitting a plant or the wires. Aplomados naturally navigate those tight quarters. They come from a part of the world where that's their habitat. And when those birds, like robins or waxwings or blackbirds, see an aplomado, to them it's like a Cooper's hawk or a sharpshin. They're a natural predator. But Aplomados have one more trick up their sleeves, and you've been seeing it here. They're very lightly wing-loaded, and they can climb really well. So when they push a flock of birds, like starlings, out of the crop, they can continuously push it higher and higher in the sky. The starlings know they're not safe under the falcon, so they try to stay above it, and this can be very intimidating as they get farther and farther from where they're safe. Aplomado falcons don't have the ability to cover the large acreage that the other falcons can, but their adaptability makes them perfect for flying in and out of the truck. They can be heat-seeking missiles down the rows after single birds, and multiple flights on hot spots lets them make a big impact on larger areas. But their ringing flights, pushing large flocks of birds up into the sky, is proof that they're versatile and they can be molded and guided into behaviors that make them more effective and a great asset to the other falcons on the team. You can think of me, the falconer, as kind of the choreographer of the flights. Once these birds are trained, I basically provide ground support and kind of mold them in the direction they need to go. Working with these falcons has given me a lot of exciting experiences, things the average person doesn't get to see, and I'm happy to be able to share those with you. On that note, I hope that you enjoyed this video. It's kind of a hobby of mine to make these, and I hope you like them.